What's up, YouTube? I've been sitting here and I've been racking my brain about my thoughts and opinions on The Boys season 4. I did drop a video a few months ago about how The Boys, it needs to start wrapping up, it needs to have a purpose, it needs to get to the point basically. And so I've watched season 4 three times already. I rewatched the entire season and I watched season 4 again because my friend was watching it. And I've come to the conclusion that The Boys season 4 is easily the worst season in the show, but it is such a frustrating mess of just from characters to plot lines to everything. It's like they had the blueprint. Season 3 was peak. If we're using internet terms, it was peak, okay? It was top tier. This is what everyone wanted, okay? I mean, Herogasm is its most highly regarded episode. It captures what makes The Boys so good in one episode, okay? It is the pinnacle of the show, but it feels like the rest of the season 4, it feels like season 4 it was just like, okay, we're just, going through the flow with things and there's no real purpose until like the final few episodes where it's like, okay, we have a plan here, go 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 to set up season 5. It's clear that this season was kind of like filler because they wanted to get to season 5 for whatever reason it was. Of from the beginning, the showrunner was like, okay, we're getting, this is a season 5 show, which they should have ended in season 4 because this season was unneeded. The subplots were ridiculous, and they even retread some storylines from previous seasons. For example, the Frenchie plotline was completely pointless because we went through the exact same storyline with season 2, with the story of Mallory and how her grandkids got murdered by Lamplighter, and how Frenchie felt like he deserved to be punished for leaving his post even though he was going to help a friend, and he felt sad about, oh, I shouldn't have been left off the hook, I needed punishment, stuff like that. They regurgitate the entire thing with Colin, which added nothing to the story, nothing to the plot, does not, he leaves and then nothing else happens afterwards. And the whole thing with Frenchie needing repentance and turning himself in, only for a few episodes later for him to be coming back out and they just don't talk about it again. And then the whole wishy-washy of not knowing what to do with Frenchie and Kamiko. Are they a couple? Are they not a couple? Are they just friends? Are they family? What are they really doing here? And it feels like they didn't know what to do with these certain characters, and they just put them in these random plot lines that just does not work. And it brings down the quality of the season because you want to invest in these characters and see where they go from here, but you're just retreading the same plot line over and over again, where we get it, Frenchie did horrible things and he tried to pay for it, but we did this already. Why are we going through this again? It doesn't add anything to the story at all. And then you have this whole thing where they're trying to recapture the limelight of what made Herogasm so good. The reason why we liked Herogasm is not because of the sexual escapades that happened in the show. It was the characters, all the plot lines crossing and diverging at once, where you have the start of A-Train's redemption arc. You have Homelander finally getting his shit pushed in by Butcher, Soldier Boy, and Huey at the end. And you have all these things collide at once with this big cathartic episode where everything is happening, you're seeing where it's going, and you're enjoying it for the ride. This just feels like, okay, season 4 just feels like we're going to be edgy because we need that new moment. It's clearly because they want to see more and more weird stuff, like the sauna scene with the clones or whatever, and then you have the whole episode with the Tech Knight sex dungeon, which it does not add anything to the story. It feels like it's just not even mean-spirited, it's just gross. Like, obviously The Boys got big because of how edgy it is in a time where Marvel was the biggest thing on the planet, and it was white hot due to, Endgame, Infinity War, and all that stuff like that. Like, Marvel was top tier. And then you have this high quality, well-written, edgy show that flips the superhero genre on its head. You know what I mean? So it makes sense why we latched onto it, because it's so different than what you expect. You know what I mean? It's like a new change of pace. Now it just feels like they're trying to double down on being edgy and gross. Like, that's what we're here for, and it's not, because at this point we have Invincible, we have all these other superhero things that are trying to be different and edgy. You got to do something more than just be gross, because that's not what we're here for. We're here for the characters, the growth, the not realism, but like the mature content of, okay, these are human beings trying to take down these superheroes. That's why season 1 and season 3 are kind of like the better seasons of the show, because season 1, it shows that, okay, the boys, they're intelligent humans that are trying to outthink and outmaneuver these superhero beings that at any moment, if they get caught, it's done, it's wraps. Now it feels like they have this weird plot armor where no matter what happens, they're going to be saved at the end. Not because of their own intelligence, it's because of someone coming at the last moment and saving them, or because of some stupid plot contrivance. And it's frustrating. And then you have all these other subplot lines that doesn't go anywhere, or it's just basically useless. You have this entire, it's basically the same thing with season 3, where you have the entire plot line of Black Noir and his background story being built up for the entire season, just for at the end for him to die, and they don't acknowledge it. It's like, bro, what was the point of that whole thing just to have Homelander just kill him? It doesn't make any sense. Same thing with this one. You have this entire buildup of, hey, Newman is a bad person. We have to kill her. She has to be eradicated. Only for at the end, she finally sees that Homelander is a complete psychopath and wants to get out of Dodge. Like, no, bro. Like, you spent this entire 2-3 seasons showing how awful she is, just for it now to blow up in her face. Now she wants to get out of here? Like, what are we doing here? Same thing with the Ryan storyline, where you had the build up where, like, he's not caught in between, because he's kind of leaning towards Butcher for the entire show, pretty much. But, like, he's trying to understand Homelander, and Homelander is becoming more and more unhinged because he's a sociopath, he's a psychopath and stuff like that. And then you have it where at the end you have this build up where Ryan, 1000% sure Ryan would have just joined Butcher anyway. But then you have Mallory show up at the last second, was like, hey, if you don't kill your dad, we're going to just drug you and keep you asleep forever. How does that benefit anyone? It felt like a conflict just to put Butcher to go with Kessler, or Kessler, whatever, however you pronounce his name, to be the bad guy in season 5. And the people were talking about, oh my god, Butcher being the final villain makes so much sense. No, it does not. It felt like the season was trying to be like, oh, we want Butcher to be the main villain also, so let's just throw some stuff in there to make him see it as bad as he was. The whole thing with Kessler or whatever, how he was talking about how, you say you're doing all this for Becca, but you was planning a divorce. Why wait 4 seasons into the show to bring that up? Why bring that up at all? You can't just throw at the last second, hey, really, Butcher did all this, but he was really a cheating, lying son of a bitch that wanted the divorce, all this stuff like that. It's like, bro, this doesn't add anything. This doesn't change how we feel about Butcher all of a sudden. Oh my god, he did all this for 3+ seasons, but he was planning a divorce. I can't rock with him anymore. Like, come on now. You had ample time to start adding these layers of Butcher is a horrible person, and then it leads up to him being the villain of season 5. Like, if there was a gradual build-up, I understand it. Any means necessary, doing the most horrible things possible and stuff like that. But there is numerous times throughout the entire show where he constantly backpedals. He says, oh, I'm not this horrible person. I'm doing the right thing because I am a good guy deep down inside. Just to flip it at the last second, was like, oh no, he's evil now. It's like, come on. What are we doing here? This show is so frustrating to watch. This season in particular, because they had a plot line. This season could have easily been the Infinity War of, okay, this stuff is really getting off the rails. The boys are completely split up due to Butcher's health being bad, all the other stuff they did with Herogasm and all that stuff like that, where like MM is worried about his family and all that stuff like that, where it's like, okay, they're separated. And then when it really gets off the rails at the end of season 4, where Homelander takes over the White House and stuff like that, then season 5 is, okay, we're bringing everyone together. We have to find a plan, and we have to basically tag out Homelander. Even though the objective to kill Homelander has been a thing since season 1, but we're not going to get into that. That would have been a better plot than, okay, we're going to meander for half the season, then we're going to discover a virus, and then we're going to have Frenchie at the last episode put it together, even though you could have had him doing that the entire season, but whatever. And then use it, you know what I mean? Or didn't plan on using it in season 5. You could have just had it where, okay, Frenchie has been developing this thing in season 4 for the entire season. He finally figures it out. He's like the Walter White. Like, honestly, the comic version of Frenchie is kind of cooler than him in the story. I know they're trying to keep it grounded because they don't have like superpower stuff like that. But it would have been cool if Frenchie's like this top tier chemist, and he is cooking and he is trying to get this thing down. And he was able to do it in the show. So it's like, just have it where he's spending the entire season. They're trying to kill Newman because the acid didn't work. He's like, okay, we're developing a virus using Compound V that A-Train gave him or whatever to try to isolate, blah, 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 science, mumbo jumbo. And then you have it, boom, where he finally figures out that at the end, Butcher shows up, do XYZ, and then takes it. You could have had it like that. There's so many different ways you could have done it instead of having all these characters meander around and not really know what to do. Until the last second, we're like, okay, now we're finally going to get into meat and potatoes next season. It's frustrating. Now, piggyback on what I said earlier about how they were trying to chase their next Herogasm, there are numerous episodes where they try to have a big shocking moment just to have a thing for people to talk about, and it really came into effect with Huey, where in season 4, he gets assaulted not once, not twice, but 3 times this show, and it's not even like a edgy, shocking thing because it's funny. It's just gross, and it makes like people uncomfortable. Like, this isn't something, and the fact that showrunner came out or the showrunner came out and said, "Oh, we thought it was hilarious that Huey got assaulted by his childhood hero," is like this is just mean spirited and uncomfortable. Like, at what part is someone being assaulted funny? Like, when is that ever funny? Like, that's not something that people would enjoy watching and would laugh at. Like, at what part was supposed to laugh at that? It's just bad taste, poor taste, and it left a sour taste in everyone's mouth. And it's not because, oh my God, people are so weak and sensitive about the whole thing. It's like, I don't want to see my main character bawling to his girlfriend because he got touched inappropriately by his childhood hero. What is that? That's not something that's enjoyable for me that I want to see. What the hell? It's weird, okay? And it all comes to effect because they want to chase the next hero-gasm, and it ruins the season. And it's like, if you were a fan of Huey, you did not like this season because they fucked him over back to back to back. His dad dies. He gets assaulted back to back to back to back. He gets yelled at for figuring out the shapeshifter when no one else could. And he gets mad at him for sleeping with a shapeshifter. How was he supposed to know that? I mean, they make it up at the end, but it's still frustrating. It's like, what are we doing here? What is this? They've been doing this for the past few seasons where he was supposed to be the main character, but it's done this thing where they belittle him every single goddamn season, from Maeve calling him a little twink to like they're getting mad at Huey for trying to protect Starlight even though he lost the love of his life to A-Train earlier the first season. Of course he's going to be overprotective for something he loved because he lost it tragically before. It's like, it makes sense. And you could have had it where Huey was on this plot line for, I'll make myself more and more, prevalent and valuable without like being overbearing. That would have been a beautiful like development to his character. But it's especially with the whole dad thing, how you're talking about how like you have hard time letting go and stuff like that. That could have been a beautiful transition, but no, they're just continuing to fuck over Huey for whatever goddamn reason. And speaking of Huey and Starlight, can we please have Starlight get some wins in this shit, yo? Because every time she lights up, no one takes her seriously. It is the most puppy dog barking I've ever seen in my life. Where every time she tunes up, like, oh my God, and the lights start to flicker, everyone's like, okay, put it away, you're not gonna do anything. Are you serious? And her big ultimate move in season 3 only lightly pushed away Soldier Boy. Give her some wins. She can fly now. She can speed away. Please have her get some legit wins in season 5 where she's a goddamn tank and she's actually taking some soups down, okay? Also, the weird thing in season 4, how they kept going back to the Deep, where the Deep is a funny character, but the amount of screen time he had when other characters didn't is very fucking weird. Like, I don't care about his whole relationship dilemma with his octopus and how like he's becoming more and more unhinged because he's a shitty human being. But and then it leads to him like becoming more and more murderous. It's weird, okay? It's like it doesn't add anything to the season. It doesn't add anything at all. And honestly, he should have been more in the back burner than what he was before. But it felt like the showrunners fell in love with this character and they try to push him in any way they can. The fact that he's showing up at Gen V for whatever fucking reason makes no goddamn sense. But those are my thoughts. Those are my frustrations and my little ranting about The Boys season 4. Let me know what y'all think down below. Did y'all think the season was good? Was it up to par? What are y'all ranking between the seasons? If I had to rank it from best to worst, it would probably be season 3, season 1, season 2, and then season 4. I did not like the season at all because it was frustrating. But those are my thoughts. Let me know down below. Hit the like button, subscribe, and share. And I'm out. Peace.